And we kind of got a shock the meeting before.
Commissioners like to see if someone's on there.
Yeah, there's a hello.
Voice from above.
Yeah.
We are wrong. Got the female. It was a female that chimed in there that day.
You don't think God is a female?
I'm just going from, what's typically most of the churches you go to. How about your church? What do they have depicted up there?
Okay. On that note, it's 8:30.
I call this meeting of the Riley County Commission to order. Please, everybody join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, good morning, everybody. Hopefully everybody
Got to enjoy this nice little morning thunderstorm / rain shower. I don't know about you, but this week has just been a blur. It's just gone by so quick. I realized I woke up yesterday morning and was like, oh, it's Thursday. Some mornings I got to figure out if I'm going to work or if I'm coming into the office. And yesterday I had one of those moments. So fortunately it was a day off and here we are. So as usual, we'll go ahead and start off with some public comment this morning. And as usual, I'll start up on Zoom, but unless Tammy, I see Tammy's up there. Other than that, I don't see anybody probably with any public comments this morning. So kind of the norm for Zoom. I guess we're getting back to kind of our normal setup here. So
For a while anyway.
yeah. So we'll move to the chamber. And did you have anything this morning, John? Okay.
Up here?
Yep.
Please.
On Elderman Public Works, you noticed the big crane out in front of the courthouse came in yesterday, day before. So they're up there working. I would like to see, I'm here to ask if you guys would like to go out and look at the front of that so we can talk about the rock or the stone replacement and repairs on Monday at the end of your meeting. What sure today was a good day.
Well, it's supposed to clear up by the time by the time we get done here. I don't long agenda, but nonetheless.
It looked like maybe Monday was pretty short. That we can.
Okay. Well, we have
And plus, to get it on the agenda might not be a bad idea if we could do that.
Exactly. You may have
Just
people that want to show up.
for Monday.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's better practice. We try to do that type of
We
thing.
got a little bit of a time slot in between then and the intergovernmental.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd like to just talk about the stone repairs and replacement that are over and above what the contract called for. And what direction, we need a direction while they're there
Okay.
to know whether to stop or keep going.
Okay.
Monday, the last item is at 10:10 with Clancy.
Okay.
Just so the commission's aware,
Yeah,
there's
so-
plenty of time.
I'll give it Cindy and get on the agenda and send you a card. for it.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Do we have any other public comments this morning? Okay, seeing none, I'll go ahead and close off the public comment section, move on to commission comments and start with Commissioner McKinley.
I looked at the reports on Monday's law board meeting. I was pleased to see that Commissioners Ford and Foki tried to contain the increase in the RCP budget, but disappointed to see the rest of them had no problem raising the taxes. Other than that, I took advantage of the cooler weather and caught up on a lot of yard work and garden work this week. And
Kind of a little red on top there.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
I try to wear a hat, and I forget about it every once in a while, and then the next day I remember.
Yeah,
It's
yes, you did.
tender. And then just a reminder, if you call that the Riley Extension Garden Tour is this Saturday from 8 to noon. I've gone frequently. We go to most of those. I enjoy seeing the gardens the locals develop. The only downside is I come home with a list saying, oh, we could do this and this.
Does your wife have a separate list that doesn't match, just out of curiosity?
I don't, yeah, we both come.
Yeah, okay.
That takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay, Commissioner Foki.
Okay, well, Monday I attended and participated in the law board meeting. They did have a report from the FIP, which is the Fair and Impartial Policing Group. And it It is composed of the Coalition for Equal Justice and the RCPD, and they reported on their progress. Main discussion of the board was the 2022 proposed budget. 4 options were discussed at the earlier special meeting, and number 4, which was the highest, was approved for publication with the understanding that we could not go higher, but we could reduce the amount at Monday's meeting. After considerable discussion, including various proposals on ways to reduce the budget, a vote was taken and number 4 was approved, which was the highest one. Commissioner Ford and I both voted no, and there will be a public hearing scheduled. So hopefully the public will attend. Tuesday, I attended the Food Master Plan Group that's working on a community engagement strategy. The action plan is to distribute a survey to various community stakeholders in order to prioritize objectives and actions for development. The survey will be distributed in November and December and then analyzed to help the board develop goals and priorities. We did some interaction with the survey questions to determine which ones the committee considered to be the most important. So that survey will be available hopefully at the next meeting. Wednesday, I attended the Heartland Works Board held by Zoom. It was attended by the Chief Elected Officials Board and the Local Workforce Development Board. I didn't understand before the last one I went to why they all met together, which one I was part of and all that, but I got a little clearer understanding of it now. Both groups had elections for the coming year's officers. They start the fiscal year on July 1st. Also present, Dee McKee is the chair of the elected officials group. So. Also presented was the annual budget, year-end financials, and renewal of several 2022 contracts. Other committee reports were made, and the executive director, David Brennan, had a report on the workforce center's activities and statistics. And all agencies are having a real hard time filling available positions. But they do have some opportunities available for people to help them write resumes and help them find jobs. So it's, and we'll have to see how that goes. The meeting schedule for the upcoming year was discussed, with none being held in December. And the next 2 in September and November will be held in Topeka at the Workforce Center, with Zoom available for people who can't attend. All thought it would be a good idea to get to know each other, as there are a lot of new members and some new commissioners. So, but that was pretty much the week, which was a busy one.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess coming back to me, I too, of course, was at the Riley County Law Board meeting on Monday. I think you did a pretty good job summing it up. I'll just add a couple of things to that. We also got a couple updates from the Fraternal Order of Police. The Community Advisory Board was supposed to, but I guess the person giving that actually wasn't there. So probably get a double one next month. Are we meeting next month?
I think so.
Okay. I couldn't remember if it was July or August. There's one meeting we're not meeting next month, and it's August, and I think I've got them confused at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's
Duly noted. And there was also discussion about the public notice that went out for the open house for the new RCPD firing range on June 30th. We also had an executive session at the end there to kind of work through a item, I guess, of personal interest been worked on for a while. For me, I just thought that the budget increase this year, given everything, was just a little much. I think we could have worked it down to closer to at least even and still accomplished personnel goals that we needed to do, and was a little disappointed with that. So I voted no. So also later Monday afternoon, we met with a state representative from the 67th district, Mike Dodson. Clancy was with me on that, as well as county appraiser Greg McHenry. We discussed in length many different items of legislative concerns from both accounts. Conversation was actually about 2 hours, a little over 2 hours.
Yeah.
Pretty in depth. I'm going to take a moment and say I appreciate Representative Dodson's time and for reaching out to us to chat and kind of discuss some of those items that are concerns to us and concerns to him moving back, and bounce some questions off of him and vice versa. And it's just good to have that working interaction from time to time. So, and we'll see what develops from that. We both have a lot of issues, as you can probably tell, and challenges that we face moving forward. So Tuesday afternoon, attended via Zoom the monthly board of directors meeting with Pawnee Mental Health. Met with the finance committee, which I'm on to get an update first. I have a couple of new members. I think we're getting close to almost having a full board of directors at this point in time. Marcy Shuley will be a new Clay County representative. Gary County Commissioner Trish Giordano will also be joining, and I'm not going to get this name right, but I'm going to try. Haley Ordonez. I wasn't the only one that messed that up, so I feel a little better about that. From Washington County. So we got 3 new board members and new group of people to interact with and work with moving forward. Robin, of course, gave an executive director's report. Becky Woodward gave us a program update, pretty in-depth program update of what's been going on in 2021. I gave the Finance Oversight Committee report because our chairman wasn't available, and we passed several financial items, including the fiscal year 2022 budget for Pawnee. And Diane Hendricks gave us an update on the 65th anniversary event that's being planned and the activities with it later on down the year. Hope everybody has a chance to attend that. I think it's going to be mostly in person, and we have a Zoom option for it. And the upcoming Driving the Dream event, which is also at the end of the year. We won't be meeting in July. We'll meet again in August, maybe in person, maybe Zoom, maybe a combination. Got 2 months to figure that out. So we'll figure that out. I kind of hope for me to kind of keep a Zoom option, because it's hard in the middle of the afternoon on a Tuesday to jump ship and head up to Clay Center or up north or someplace central to do that. And we have found that during the Zoom option that more of the board members are able to attend. But like you were mentioned earlier, it is good to network in person every now and again too, just to have that interaction. So, and Tuesday later, a little bit later, no, actually it was at the same time. They kind of overlapped, but I listened in on NACO's teleconference call with the United States Department of Treasury and the release of the compliance and reporting guidance, kind of a new set of guidelines here for the coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds. It's kind of a long title too. I'm just going to go with ARPA from now on. It's just nice and neat. Those, of course, are the funds that are authorized in the American Rescue Plan. This guidance provided some additional details and clarifications for counties and local unit government for reporting duties and responsibilities with these recovery funds as they come in. And we address needs and figure out a way to spend them. I'm sure probably somebody from Rich's office, probably Tammy was listening probably to that as well. Nothing, and from my perspective, nothing too outside the ordinary, just kind of that political federal red tape that kind of have to go through with these things. Fortunately, I mentioned this once again, we have 3 years, 4 years in some cases instead of 90 days to 3 months. So we've got plenty of time to work through all of it, and I think we'll be just fine. So, and that's it. So we can go ahead and move on to some business this morning, Rich.
First item I have is I need a motion to approve the OpenGov software services agreement.
Is this the full agreement or just?
This is the full agreement.
Okay.
Yes. That is one way to describe it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Andrew and I are going to have a talk about paperwork.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, unfortunately,
We'll
yeah.
call that part 1. No, that's a whole. That's
Okay. Because I didn't see anything else in the business, and I looked over there at that and thought, oh, boy.
I saw you looking at it.
That is like, there's a lot of signatures required.
A lot of sticky
A lot of
notes.
sticky
A lot of
notes.
sticky
A lot of
notes.
signatures for one.
Yeah, one
individual.
commissioner gets decided over and over.
Get your hand ready.
Yeah, I'm glad yesterday was an arm day at the gym.
Actually, one commissioner, I get the pleasure as well, unfortunately.
So this was we discussed this earlier about the necessity for it and the numbers.
Yeah. Okay. This is something, just to summarize real quick, this is something that I brought back from the 2019 annual conference, which was out in Clark County, Nevada, or Las Vegas. We were told not to say that too loud too, believe it or not. I can't imagine why. this is something we brought back that in talking to their team that was there, I thought would be an interesting concept. There's a couple, mostly cities, mostly municipalities in the state that they're working with, including Bonner Springs, Abilene, there's one other one I'm missing here in Kansas. So they usually don't work with counties necessarily, but basically the same reporting processes and transparency is pretty much alike across the board. I thought this would be something that would throw up some things, add a transparency component, and allow some of our staff members to be able to do some things actually in real time. So that's where the conversation came, and started working on that. There soon after, of course, the virus hit. We put it to the side because it was going to be a large capital expenditure, and we came back to it this year just to give you a kind of a timeline. I don't think we ever really discussed that.
So this comes out of the CIP funds.
Correct. We approved the expenditure, but have to go through the formal process now. Yes.
So I move to approve.
I would second that.
Okay, it's been moved and approved, motioned and seconded on the approval of the Open Gov Software Service Agreement. All those in favor? Aye.
Everyone else can take a break for a while.
No, I can actually write with my left hand too, but it'd be much, much slower.
Well, you're more talented than I am.
I don't know if talent is the right word, but
I'm not sign with, I can barely sign my right hand. Some people would say.
I keep saying stamp, but somebody keeps telling me no.
So can you switch hit at the plate? Is that,
Yes.
and a catcher?
Sure,
Yeah.
Why are you here?
It's unusual.
Because I didn't put enough time and effort into it, to be honest with you. It's interesting in certain situations, I got the chance to bunt from both sides. Pretty effective.
Commissioners all wish to attend the intergovernmental?
Yes, sir.
That's Monday
Yes,
at noon.
yes. Clancy?
Yes, please.
And then a couple little things to put up while we're doing this. Reminder.
It's here.
Yeah, we're doing the same on Zoom.
We're doing it Zoom for this month and next month, and then we'll kind of figure out where to go.
We talked about
Yeah.
something else.
Just remind the commissioners of this coming up, the Flint Hills Regional Leaders Retreat. All of you are registered. You are not registered. You want registered. It's
Is this-
July 29th and 30th all day.
Yeah,
It's here in town.
yeah,
I had asked you one time and you said no, but if you change your mind, let us know.
I will. Are they gonna have any kind of Zoom component or not? Do you know?
I have not heard, Clancy. They
I'm
don't
not-
even have the agenda out yet.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I haven't heard that they were going to do that, so I think it is going to be just.
And this may be during the time I'm gone anyway. What's the date on it?
28th and 29th,
29th and 30th.
29th and 30th. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I'm out of here.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to be sure.
No, I appreciate it.
Just a reminder, when we get an agenda, commissioners, I will get one for you, that they do not have them out yet.
Or if I get one emailed to me, it's ex officio.
Yeah, just
it's
forward it to me.
it should be sent over to you either way.
So will we not have our meeting on Thursday then?
Correct.
29th.
Or I don't think so. It depends on what time they set up those first things. We could have a potentially short business meeting or something that morning, but we'll see. For us, it's
Yeah, because they
just-
say here they start at 8:30 to 5, but you
Yeah.
know, who knows what they have. Might be registration and we could start here at 7 if you want.
Well, that's, yeah, if we have enough business or something, we'll figure it out.
I'm kidding, actually. but-
Not an early bird, are we?
Yeah, well, yeah, I get about 5.
I know we got a call from the Optimist Club. They want me to talk next month. They're like, well, our breakfast and stuff's at 6:30 in the morning. I hope that's not too early for you. I'm like, no, I'll get to sleep in that morning, actually. It'd be kind of nice.
Sleep in, my body's just on an automatic clock.
Yeah, mine is too.
I tried to, my cat jumps on top of me. Doesn't work.
So you have a couple clocks, the automatic one, and then
Yeah.
I guess that's an automatic one as well, huh?
Last night, we got 3 o'clock last time.
Pass that back to the fish.
So small.
Yeah, that's no good.
No,
I could have called you because I was up at 3.
Woke up at 3, I kind of went back at after that.
Chairman.
What? I already missed one?
Yeah. Actually, you missed one whole side, so you missed. Count them all.
You missed the left
just as
side.
public.
Imagine that.
Touche.
There we go.
And the batting average begins to slide.
Started out
We started out with
early
a
this
tie.
morning.
That's just my rebuttal. That's just my rebuttal.
I thought it as I said it.
Yeah.
He capitalized on it.
Well, that's because you put like 8,000 paper clips on here. That's why I missed it.
Okay, we'll go with that. There's still the bright yellow color.
What if I'm color?
Could be. I had a roommate who's colorblind.
Usually it's darker colors, most people.
Yeah.
Like reds and
Yeah.
greens.
Certain shades of green. Yeah.
Are these all legal documents that Clancy prepared? So maybe I should blame him instead.
Some of them are well, actually, it's like a 3-page sheet I prepared. So
He's saying don't blame
Shades of
him.
green that I don't.
I think you blame me for
Roommate struggle with
blame me for our
greens and browns
attachments,
and
not for the
blues.
base documents.
We'd always make fun of him, telling you.
Oh, boy, I don't
It
know
looked
why.
good. This is when we were in college, you know. You never need your old dress like
That
that.
one you can hand back. Oh, left side of this one. That one you can hand back. I think I'm good on that. That'll probably come back to me. This may take us till 9 o'clock. That wasn't the intention. I can go back. I'm not mixing them up purposely, Rich. You're just gonna have to deal with that.
Cindy will talk to you.
That's fine. I'll set that conversation.
That looks like a grant application.
It almost does. It really does.
Yes.
Yeah, they get.
It's probably because there's multiple copies of it each year.
It is. It is.
They all look like duplicates here.
Many times it's either 3 or 5 copies end up getting signed. Commissioner's ready for the minutes and you are. We can do that.
Yeah.
Later.
Clip over there. Keep in mind, we've got 2 sets of meeting
Thank you.
minutes that we're going through this morning due to the extra day off this last Friday. Just a second. Get set up. Okay, we're going to start with the regular meeting minutes from Thursday, June 17th. Everybody ready to go? Okay, we'll start with page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Page 8.
Commissioners, I do have one change to suggest there. Rich, on page 8, number 15.
15? Okay.
Under Dennis Butler, RCPD Director,
Uh-huh.
the line beginning Butler reported the RCPD firing range.
Uh-huh.
Immediately after the word range, I would ask you to insert open house.
Gotcha.
I also want to spell the Butler right too.
Oh, yeah, it is backwards. I just
I was
got
gonna
that.
leave it that way.
Okay.
I got that.
I thought out of respect, maybe we might, yeah.
Once you do that in the meeting, then he's got to change the spelling of his name. So
Right. I'm sure
Saw
he'd
that right as you said that.
be.
That
Okay,
don't look right.
yeah, it doesn't. I don't know how you pronounce that.
Bolter.
Bolter.
Bolter? Bolter, okay. All right, moving on, page 9. Page 10. And lastly, page 11. All right, we'll do separate motions for each.
Please.
Okay.
See, I would make a motion to approve the minutes dated June 17th. Excuse me, as corrected.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded on passage of the June 16th, 17th, 2021 amended minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that takes care of one. Can I make me sign into the other one separately? Yes. Just a second, guys.
For sure.
For some reason, I have to actually enter a password now every time.
Really?
Yeah, I hadn't had to do that till recently, but I'm gonna get with IT and see if I logged out of something I can log into and just keeps me signed in. When Windows updated last time, this is one of those things that happened.
The After Effects.
Yeah, I probably turned something off I didn't want. That's the way it works. So, okay, is everybody ready for June 21st, Monday's meeting? Okay, we'll start with page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. And lastly, page 6. A lot longer meeting than the minutes indicate there, but
Yeah. I would make a motion to approve the minutes dated June 21st, 2021.
I'll second.
it's been moved and seconded on approval of the minutes from Monday, June 21st, 2021. All those in favor? Aye.
Okay, commissioners, how do the tentative agendas look? And we will be adding the one item on Mondays to look at the front of the courthouse. Building repairs, and then any items for next week's press conference. If not, we have Russell Stuckey at 9:00.
Trying to copy Clancy. Do you have copies of what we're discussing in executive session?
You can.
Okay.
I will.
Or not, I'm just trying to copy some.
No, it'll just take a few minutes. I don't mind.
I just already hit print, so don't.
Well, in that case, print one for me, not kidding. I got it.
Can you print 4 more?
Look at what I started this morning.
By the time it prints, it'll
It'll be 9:15.
Yeah, and I don't know how Catherine likes hers, but I like my staple just so, if you want.
If you're wanting professional clerical services from me, good luck. You already seen, I can't even sign my name half the time.
Oh, well, that's Rich's fault.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
it's
agree.
my fault sometimes.
Yeah.
Feel like I'm at home.
Well, then you should already be used to
We're
it.
in the right spot, but
Too many stickers.
There was too many paper clips. That was the problem.
There we go.
Of course, I didn't put the paper clips on there, so not it.
This is the slowest printing machine I've seen in years.
well, when commissioners asked for that, they wanted something that was did not cost much. And when you ask for something that is very basic and doesn't cost much, that's what we can
I
get
think
you a
it's
better
old.
one.
I think it's pretty old.
We can get you a better one.
Takes a long time.
Let us know.
I think if we could undo what it does, it prints about 3 pages and it cleans. I don't know
Oh,
if
does
it's a
it?
setting for that.
Yeah,
It takes a
you're
long
gonna
time.
get that from just about every type of those machines.
Oh, I have an HP at home. It's still printing.
I think I've gone through more printers and scanners in my life than I have computers.
Yeah, I have horrible luck with printers and scanners.
They just break. They always break just right after the warranty period,
And that
just
just
like phones.
never worked very good from the beginning.
That don't last that long.
Morning, Russell. Mine at home was scanned, printer scan in the scanner. I have to reload it. I have to, every time I want to scan it, I have to reload, get the disk out and reload it because it doesn't stay. Won't, it's loaded on a computer, but it won't read it. I have to reload it. I thought I had it figured out.
Wireless and it's really good.
I thought I had it figured out once. It worked twice in a row and then next time it didn't make sense.
It's another one of those too, because it's usually connected to Microsoft, your Office program or whatever. When it updates, screws up all your printer and scanning and copying settings, and we're starting all over again. So
It's time for Russell.
go ahead, Russell.
Commissioners,
Morning.
Russell Stuckey, Emergency Services Director. I have hand out to you.
Sir.
Sir.
So haven't been quite as busy fire-wise, thank goodness, as we had been. So this page is just kind of a breakdown of the different calls that different trucks have been on. We're still kind of playing around with the different report formats, and there's hundreds of choices on how to run a report. So this one kind of jumped out at me as one that maybe kind of gives a good picture of what types of calls we went on. It gives you an address, and tell me if you think that gives you kind of a picture that you like. The one thing I don't like about this report is on the bottom, on the back page, it says total incidents for all apparatus is 95, but we didn't have 95 runs. We had 95 trucks go out the door. So 3 or 4 of them may have went on the same run.
Right.
So that's a little misleading there from that aspect. So, so just bear that in mind. We didn't have 95 runs. We had 95 trucks go out the door. Is what this report shows. Just want to make sure you understood that. So, if you have any questions on that, feel free to ask me now or later. As far as the rest of the fire, I'll introduce our new Deputy Chief of Operations, Doug Russell. He started Monday, so I'm actually fully staffed now. So I'll let Doug talk a little bit about himself.
So I've been with the department for 13 years prior. For the last year with transition between Pat and Russell, everybody I've been helping out and acting in that position as well. From just on the other side of Manhattan, I'm Blue Hill Nursery, so where I've grown up, family farm there. So I'm excited to be on. It's an opportunity that I was ready to take finally, and ready to see what we can get done.
All right. Good
Appreciate
deal.
it, guys.
Welcome
Appreciate
aboard.
your time and
Glad to have
service,
you.
and wish you the best of luck in this new role.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think that we're gonna do some good things.
I do too. I do too. I'm glad we're fully staffed. It's been
Yeah, it's the first time.
for me, it's been a long process from start to where we're at.
It's
So
been a long
yeah,
time, and I
yeah.
think from the department standpoint, the volunteers they're excited and ready to have a full staff and
Good.
support.
Good.
All right.
Good deal.
Yes.
Thank you.
So on the 911 side, still working with Clancy and trying to button up all the final acceptance and things with the radio system. We still have, I think 4 or 5 outstanding things that Harris needs to finish up. And I think Clancy's getting those things worked into the acceptance agreement so that we can go ahead and sign it, but we'll go ahead and we'll still hold on to the money, the last 80,000 that we're holding until they get those things buttoned up. Working with the radio working group, the 911 working group on, part of the contract is we get a refresh, or not a refresh, a retouch of the radios So we've been using them since October-ish. There's some changes we'd like to make on how they're programmed and things, and so we get one free retouch. And so the 911 work group's been meeting to see what all we want done. We'll have to tweak it and rearrange maybe how the radios are programmed. We signed an agreement with MBAT where they have a talk group on the system so that we can talk directly to them on their own talk group that won't give that out to anybody else, type of thing. Attended the microwave training last week and with KCOM technicians and Eric from K-State, and I was talking to Kevin Hauser yesterday, and I think there may be an opportunity with some microwave equipment to where we have some internet connections that cost us $1,000 a month. Another one that's $1,500 a month. By purchasing microwave equipment, putting it in place, we might be able to make a $20,000 to $30,000 investment and get rid of $1,000 a month bill or $1,500 a month bill. So that'd be a pretty good payback, pretty quick payback. So we're going to investigate that further.
Is there some other opportunities to work with community partners on widening broad base, wireless, something through that capability too?
Not necessarily the microwave. I don't think, there would be some opportunity maybe to allow broadband to put equipment on our towers that we have out there, but not necessarily specifically on microwave.
Okay, I was just curious.
But yeah, tower space might be an option.
I think that's something we're going to have to look into, at least for the short term.
So I think that's the bulk of the 911 stuff. On fire, I already talked about the report a little bit. Got Chief Russell.
I know that's going to be fun, isn't it? Russell and Russell.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Lacey, she always just called him Russell.
Uh-huh.
So now she's got to go learn to call him Doug. So anyway, yeah, that'll be an interesting little twist. But, working with the architect on the fire stations, University Park and Ashland, trying to keep that moving. As always, processing volunteers, working with Alice and Elizabeth on maybe getting that process more online. As far as like getting it, right now it's just paper to get a volunteer, but get that online and advertise better on social media to get more volunteers. So working with other departments on that. Anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I need to read everything to you. On the emergency management side, we have an interesting, as you know, with the Senate bill 40, I believe it was, and some of the other legislation, we were paying extra close attention to that. We have a whole dynamic of, so the Kansas Emergency Management Association hired a lobbyist. They all basically offered their services basically for free because they thought it was a pretty big deal. And all we paid them was basically their registration fees and some, copy fees and stuff like that. But KDM didn't like that. So KDM is pushing back on KEMA that you can't hire a lobbyist. It's against some of the grant guidance. And hey, Clancy, just give a glance at it. He didn't really think that was the case. So there may come, depending on how that all works out, and the KEMA board's kind of mixed on it, whether, some of them agree with her. I don't know if agree with her is the right term, but are fearful of the repercussions. So there may be a deal where some of the bigger counties may look at, depending on what the lobbyist says as far as a fee, we may look at banding together on our own outside of KEMA if depending on what the lobbyist says, so just FYI, that may come around where we may be asked to kick in a couple $1,000 to have lobbyists that's fighting for emergency management in particular, so.
Okay.
That's all in discussion right now, so just to give you a little heads up.
Is that Senate Bill 40?
Yeah, and there's other legislation too, and the word is they think there'll be even more coming.
Yeah.
Trailer bill, probably.
Yeah,
To fix whatever is in there.
exactly. And,
Because you have to pass it before you know what's in it.
well, and then,
Right.
and then
Before you read it.
I think there's quite a bit of discussion that several of the ones that didn't get what they wanted this time around are gonna try even harder to get, just to get it again, whether it's even all brand new stuff. So I really think we probably need to be represented, specifically on the emergency management side, but politics.
Always.
A lot of normal other stuff. Chaired the Homeland Security meeting yesterday because the chair wasn't there. So, do you have any questions on anything you see on there or that you don't see on there?
Pretty in-depth presentation information.
That's all I have. Unless you guys have anything else.
Any questions, thoughts, observations? Okay, that's it. Thank you, Russell.
Thank you, Russell. Yeah. Now that I go back, I hope probably. Oh, yeah. Go back hard. Yeah. You have a phone direction. I don't.
If you're talking about my new one,
I don't recommend.
0 stars, do not recommend.
Clancy, you gonna do the contract first,
Probably line up the table.
table it.
Yeah, but I do want to tell the board. If the board moves.
Thanks, sir.
Fans blowing.
So do you want this back, Clancy?
Nah, probably so. I'm sure it's just trying to think what would be best to keep track of it, because if it's table it to Monday and it's ready to go.
Okay, yeah, I can just give it to Cindy to hold on to.
Yeah,
Yeah, no problem.
That's what I'm gonna ask.
I thought maybe you had to change something.
No, not at all. Just waiting on some documents. from the vendor.
Morning, Greg. Good.
I was gonna say, I wouldn't get too comfortable there.
Places full of friends around.
Oh, yeah, I guess, yeah. My bad. Duh.
Included.
Yeah, you are included in this one. Okay, it is 9:15. We'll start with you, Clancy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Morning, Commissioners. Clancy Holman, Rutherford County Council. First item I have on the agenda is indemnification and full harmless agreement. This is an annual document for the two newest commissioners. We do this every year at the time of the county fair. I guess annually except for 2020. But what it does is in the years past, the commission, after a lot of discussion, a lot of public comment, that kind of thing, discussions with the fair board, allowed beer sales under certain conditions at the Caw Valley Rodeo within the arena. And it's dependent upon several things. The first of which is the fair board has to want to do that. So this year, once again, the fair board is authorizing that. The indemnity agreement, the purpose of that is to make sure there's insurance coverage in the event there's anything related to alcohol sales or consumption. It comes back as a claim against the county. Doesn't take much imagination to see what that could be. Could be a DUI resulting in an accident. It could be just any number of things related to alcohol consumption. So it requires very specific insurance coverage in this state in order to meet that need. And what this does is it puts the responsibility to provide that coverage, as it should be, on the vendor, on the proposed vendor of those beer sales. In order to meet those conditions, the vendor has to have their insurance company provide our office with documentation that that coverage is in place. We don't have that yet. If it has come in since the last time I checked my email, I haven't had time to review it. And they're aware that that's a precondition of your signature on this. So it's not a small thing. And so I would ask that you table this to Monday. Hopefully by then, I'll have the documents, be able to review them, confirm the insurance coverage is in place as required by this document. At that point, I'll bring it back to you. So I would just ask that the board, if you're okay with that, just table it till Monday.
Make a motion on that then? Okay, I'll make a motion to table the indemnification, the whole harmless agreement for Monday.
Yeah, I would second that.
It's been moved and seconded on tabling the indemnification and hold harmless agreement. All those in favor?
All right.
Thank you, Commissioner. Now, the next item I would ask that we conduct the-
Okay. Do we need the full time to 9:35?
I think we probably.
Okay, kind of saying that too. Okay. I'll go ahead then and move. It was on our agenda already, so we don't need to.
It is.
Motion for it. Okay.
It is.
I move the county commission, including Chairman Ford, Commissioner McKinley, and Commissioner Foki, recess into executive session on pending litigation for the purpose of consultation with Clancy Holman, Riley County Counselor, attorney for the commission, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, an exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act. The open meeting to resume in the county commission chamber at 9:35 a.m. Greg McHenry, Riley County appraiser, will be present during a portion of the executive session to provide factual information to the commissioners. It's been moved and seconded on the motion for executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Move the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll also move that the record reflect action shall be taken consistent with consensus reached in executive session.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And we're at 9:35. So Kevin, you are up, sir.
All righty. First,
Gordon?
hasn't been too long since our last update, so I don't have a lot of earth shaking here, but we'll give an update of what's going on for the last 3-4 weeks. We did assist the district court with setup and staging of their courtroom trial that they had last week. I think that may have been the first one they've had in that building, if I'm correct.
It is.
But I did check, it sounds like things went well, so good to hear. Assisting with the 2021 tax sale, I put the equipment yesterday out of Public Works and be meeting in there tomorrow, the councilor's office there tomorrow morning, Chicago, et cetera, to make sure everything's working. Since we did have the tax sale in that location last year, it's pretty cut and dry. We got know the placement of everything, so it should go off without a hitch from a equipment perspective anyway. I don't know about the rest. Installed Contact, our major application for financials, et cetera. We worked with a vendor to install some new client update on that. That touches, I think we got 40 or 50 Contact users probably scattered throughout the county there. Maybe a few more than that, but they touch all those machines, but that is complete. We've mentioned in the last few meetings some work with the state, Secretary of State, I guess, Rich, on election security measures. Without going into a lot of detail on what those measures were, the work has been completed and we have it in place and it's meeting their spec and doesn't seem to be impacting our operations. So it should be good for the upcoming election.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, but you had said it should help us as well,
Absolutely.
other than just
Yeah.
elections. So it's kind of a nice benefit. The state's
Right.
paying for it.
Yeah.
It is specifically because of federalization. And that's why Kevin said, none of us that are involved are even allowed to talk to anyone about what type of system it is, because that kind of defeats the purpose.
Right.
So, but Kevin said there's, other periphery benefits that we get just countywide.
Absolutely. Anytime, as long as they're not active. And that's when you put these things in place, you have multiple layers of security. One of the downfalls or something that can happen is they'll fight each other. They'll think each other are problems and they'll start, blocking traffic and things like that. So we had to go through a period of time, anytime we put in security tools, to make sure it doesn't defeat the purpose by thinking things that aren't problems are problems. So bottom line is we went through that process, but yes, it adds yet another layer of security, which is never a bad thing as long as you're careful not to let it impact business. So let's put it that way. But yeah, everything's in place. So we're happy with that. I will say, and I think Rich has mentioned this, that it's a 3-year commitment, Rich, was it? So I don't know, who knows what will happen in 3 years, but the commission at that time may need to make a decision about whether we want to allocate county monies to move forward with that, or perhaps the state will pick that up again.
I'd be surprised if they wouldn't pick it up. They've had lots of money for a long time to address security issues. I'd imagine in 3 years is just maybe an upgrade, or to see if they want to stick with the same company.
Get you through the next presidential election.
I don't see security getting
Yeah.
less in the future.
I almost guarantee you're right.
And it is a huge priority federally and at state level.
I believe that you're correct. We had a few issues out of the health department with their vaccine refrigeration. I know that AC has been somewhat of an issue, the HVAC, the air conditioning out there. And there's some actual monitoring. So the IT portion of this is there's monitoring on the actual refrigerators to see the ranges of temperatures, and there's reports they have to send in to make sure they're allowed to store the type of material they have that needs refrigeration. So we've been helping them with some changeover to different equipment. Basically, one went bad and we've had to help them get in new equipment, et cetera. So that's kind of important. We did just kind of a little unexpected thing there, but as with the federal holiday, we did have to do a little work on the door locking. So it's always something to think about. I mean, not that it's a big deal, but there's a consideration of the doors that would, and this same thing happens if we have a snow day or anything like that. There's an ongoing trial when maybe the offices are closed, that sort of thing. So there's a little behind the scenes work to make sure the doors do the right thing as far as automatically opening and closing. So all went well. So it's a good test of our process. We continue to work with PIO, not here, but she's actually shouldering the majority of the burden on this. But as far as our website redevelopment, I know Alice has spent a lot of time, a lot of effort looking at potential changes to make our website look better. And she's kept me involved, and we had a meeting just yesterday about our current progress. So we'll be bringing some stills, if you will, some pictures. Obviously won't go live on our website until after we talk it through with department heads and get the commission's agreement. But that process is ongoing. So she's making some pretty significant changes, which probably are well overdue. So on the GIS side of things, it's been pretty standard over there. Updating plats, tax sale assistance. They're involved in the tax sale also from the website standpoint. When properties are redeemed, they take it off the map, that sort of thing. Been working on the city of Manhattan voting precinct maps for the upcoming election, obviously election related also. We are beginning conversation with Sanborn regarding the 2022 flight. We don't have to make an immediate decision. That won't be until early next year, but by that same token, we like to get in line, if you will, because it's a physical thing. They got airplanes they send around different places, so we want to have that top choice on our flight window. So I did let them know that we'll have to finalize, the Board of County Commissioners will have to finalize our 2020 budget decisions before I can move forward, but let them know that as soon as that process happens, we'll be getting back in touch with them. So just to be aware, that's our major purchase on the GIS side, and that'll be coming up here, that decision. This was kind of an interesting one. I don't know what to make of it, but we work with the city GIS and RCPD to clarify a retired address where someone is illegally living and using the old address and calling for 911 services. I'm not quite sure what was going on there, but I found it was an interesting update that one of my GIS folks sent me. So we obviously get involved in a lot of different obscure little issues, and they come to us as a source of accuracy. So we're able to get in there, provide information, that sort of thing, and make adjustments when they need to be made. So really, from an ITGS perspective, it has been a pretty quiet month, and so we're kind of getting back to normal, and not nearly as much. I didn't mention COVID nearly as much as I normally do because things are slowing down. There's still work to be done in that area. We're assisting, but it's not the major effort that it has been in the past, and hopefully it won't be again. So anyway, that's pretty much it from ITGIS, unless there's any questions. Yes, sir.
Just for the new commissioners, just on contact, you bring up contact every once in a while, but
Yeah.
he said 45 users or so. The majority of those are appraisers, treasurers, and clerk's office. That system is integral for the beginning of the appraisal process to the tax roll process, to the clerk's office, to the tax statements, through the treasurer's office. And so it is a system that is widely used and very important. And a few AP people in various departments use it as well. So it's a critical piece of our technology infrastructure. And along those lines, because you had mentioned the flyover, Kevin's office, a lot like our office, is a service department for all of us. So he is another one that has a fair amount in the 3 C's other than public works, but those systems are integral for the rest of us to operate when you're thinking about budget cuts is what I'm talking about. And so there's a lot of money there, but it serves all of us in essential systems that we have to have.
Yeah, there's downstream effects, obviously, as we have those budget discussions. If, say, for example, the Sanborn flight, our appraisers use the oblique view to do a lot of analysis of properties, and there's implications, staffing implications of them if they didn't have a tool with the most current pictures, if you will, to be able to use. But to your point, yeah, it's usually enterprise wide. I may have been a little low on that Comtech use. I think it's actually closer to 70, but could go even.
Yeah, by the time you figure the number of employees in the clerks, treasurers, and appraisers office, some of the larger, more medium size, and then, yeah, for sure.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your time today and have a good day.
Thank you.
Next commissioners, you have Shelley Williams at 9:50.
Hey, Sean.
Hello. Thanks for your help on that one thing a couple weeks ago. I haven't seen you. Appreciate it.
No, no problem. Thanks for letting us know.
Same thing every time. So they.
Rich, do you have a minute?
Sir.
Something like that, but it was pre-made. And at the sorority house, and I don't know that. But they were, prepackaged.
Just one. So. That's the reason. Okay.
Got up to Leavenworth again lately,
No,
See
I've not
those
been there.
grandkids.
They were down here for Memorial Weekend.
Okay, that's fun.
Them and Manhattan had large crew that weekend, that Saturday that weekend.
Everybody stay healthy through the pandemic, for the most part.
You know, all the eligible ones have vaccines, so.
Oh, good. But you have some younger ones there.
Yeah, there's a couple of, what, 2 8s, 11, maybe 2 11s.
So now
I
it's,
haven't gotten them yet.
okay, is it just authorized down to 12 years
I
old?
think that's what it is.
Okay. Yes, I did.
John, the screen is still up that you guys are in executive session.
Is it?
Yeah, because I was in emergency management, so I didn't come down, and it says you guys are still in executive session.
Huh.
On the YouTube.
It's not showing there.
No, it's not showing up on the Zoom.
This looks like a job, pretty tight.
I can figure out on the YouTube. I don't.
Hey Tyler, it's Rich. Alice is saying on YouTube that it's showing her an executive session still. So if you can kind of check that on the IT side, she's kind of looking at the computer here, but it doesn't look like it on this side, but. Nope. So it's open? Oh, okay, thanks a lot. Bye. Yeah, Tyler says it's open.
Looking at it right here, it says BOCC.
Yeah, he just pulled it up.
Might be on a delay.
Yeah, he just pulled it up on his computer.
Sure you delayed that one, though.
That's true.
Yeah, it was 9:35.
Well, it is now 9:51, so we're taking Shelley's time, so go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's fine. Good morning.
Morning.
Right.
I wanted to take a quick second to introduce our summer intern. Ryan Kelly is from Kansas City. He's a graduate student in communications and is hoping to get into law school next fall. So he doesn't have to do this for a class requirement. He is just doing it because he wants to learn about what we do in corrections and the overlap between us and the legal system. So wanted you to see Ryan coming in.
You look familiar, Ryan. Have we met someplace before?
I did a lot of work with student government in my undergrad.
Oh, that's right. Did you run for class president or vice president or something?
Yep.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, I followed your campaign. That's right. Okay. All right.
Okay, great. So you'll see him in and out this
All right.
summer.
All right. Welcome aboard.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Okay. As you know, you administer the county alcohol funds. Those come to you by way of the liquor drink tax, which is a 10% liquor tax based on the sale of drinks in the county that actually contain alcoholic liquor. So that includes clubs, caterers, and other drinking establishments. The last 5 years, your average income on this account has been $4,262. The average request through grants that you have received has been $8,895 average the last 5 years. And then the average distribution the last 5 years has been $5,095. So we have pretty much been doubling the request versus the income for the last 5 years. Back in 2020, the Joint Corrections Advisory Board, let me back up. Several years ago, the county commissioners asked the Joint Corrections Advisory Board to oversee these grant applications and make recommendations to you folks who would further make the determination on the expenditure of these funds. And they did that because they were overseeing several other grant processes and they could kind of serve as your filter. So in 2020, they informed you folks and the after prom committees in the county that they would no longer be recommending funding for them. They didn't believe that the one-time nature of the after prom parties really met the statutory requirements, which is prevention and education. And so just funding a party, the Joint Corrections Advisory Board did not believe that met the statute. So you'll see in the recommendations for today that you do not have any of those after prom requests. Did not and do not for 2021. And unless you give other directives, I would anticipate the same recommendation for 2022. They did give those folks, those committees, at least a year and a half notice that they were going to be weaning them off of that funding source so that they could try and find alternative sources for the dollars. The county gets 70% of the amount collected in the county, and 1/3 of that goes to the special alcohol and drug program funding. The balance this morning is $3,762.73. The Ogden Youth Center submitted an application for $2,500 for ongoing programming and addressing underage drinking among other public health problems that result from alcohol and drug use, which would leave a balance of $1,262.73. Coincidentally, over the years, the Joint Corrections Advisory Board has liked to keep at least $1,000 in there in case for some reason the state didn't give us our money back one year that they collect. So I don't think there's any connection to the request from Ogden that it leaves about $1,200 in the account, that is how it fell out. So the recommendation before you today is to fund Ogden Youth Center in the amount of $2,500. Any questions on the application itself or anything?
Any questions? As far as the motion.
I move to approve. Excuse me. Move to approve the Joint Correction Advisory Board's recommendation to fund the Ogden Youth Center out of county alcohol funds in the amount of $2,500.
Yeah, I would second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded on the motion for special county alcohol funding to the Ogden Youth Center, correct? Yeah, okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I believe it's the community center, I apologize.
Oh, okay. But the youth group does the work there at the
Yes,
community
correct.
center, so.
Thank you. We will inform them and get that check processed. I wanted to highlight a couple of funding partners that I haven't had an opportunity to highlight recently, and one of those being the Carolyn Pine Foundation. We received $7,500 for this year to help us with direct client services. Recently, those funds have enabled us to replace a tire for a client, and able to get her to and from work and to and from treatment and to and from her probation appointments. So something that our traditional funding, would not otherwise pay for. We also received Daniel Keating Foundation money for our protective homes. $8,000 was received in 2020, and for COVID reasons, we did not expend all of that, and so we didn't apply again for 2021. So we have a pretty substantial balance in the Daniel Keating Foundation to get us through 2021. Most recently, we had kids that were placed into police protective custody in an out-of-home placement, and it came over a meal time. And so those funds helped feed those kiddos in between being taken out of the home and being placed in an emergency protective home. It does continue to pay for stipends for protective homes. $25 a day per kiddo to the protective homes. We thought we encountered a kind of a tax hiccup, if you will. If they bring in more than $600 a year, we would have to give them a 1099. Does that sound right? But we did the math, and there's no way that any one protective home would take in that many kids to have to report that. So we didn't want to get anyone in any kind of tax implications for that. So super thankful and appreciative of the Daniel Keating Foundation. And then the Greater Manhattan Community Foundation, we actually received $5,000 total, and we split that half between adult services and half between juvenile services. And it recently paid for translator services. That's not something that's in our core funding. And it also paid for some prescription medication for clients lately. As you can imagine, with the stressors that the world has experienced, our clients too have experienced lots of mental health and illness issues in the last year. So our prescription medication payments, I foresee that being a need ongoing, at least in the near future. Moving on from those three funding sources, we did hire 5 new on-call officers for juvenile intake and assessment. And I've held 2 in-person trainings. All of those people have day jobs, and so we have to have the trainings either in the evenings or on the weekends. And of course, that's when they're on call, so it works out. We have about 3 more hours of classroom work before they're able to tackle it on their own, if you will. So we're excited about that. I hope all 5 of them stay on, because we're down to 3 in the other pool of on-call workers. That is what is going on upstairs. Do you have any questions for me?
Nope. All righty, thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Nice to meet you, Ryan.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Good luck. Next, commissioners, you have Alice Massini at 10:05.
And commissioners, just in line with what Rich said, there wasn't anything where the card was up there apparently during at least the recording, because staff went back and looked at the recording and it shows executive session ended, and then right at the beginning, you did the motion coming out of it, and then Kevin started, so there wasn't.
Weird YouTube glitch.
Technology.
I kept refreshing it too, so I was like, there's nobody, they're still in executive session.
Great. Looks like the Yankees and the Royals have split the first two games of the series.
Yeah, I think they're doing that great this season.
A lot of injuries or what?
I don't know what, I honestly haven't been able to watch too many games.
Pitching looks pretty good. It looks like it's the offense is struggling for them. I'm just ready for football season.
Me too.
Well,
Usually when it hits July 1st, that's when I start my countdown.
I like college football, best of everything.
Yeah, me too. That all in into
Then
it,
K-State
guys.
basketball after that, just because college football's not available. Morning, Craig.
Morning.
Uh-oh.
That's always a good thing to say when he shows up.
I was just gonna sneak in and try not to be even visible.
Yeah. It
That didn't work.
Doesn't work very well. Yeah.
I know.
Actually, I figured considering that we had Friday off, there'd be a lot more business to do today. So I was surprised when I saw the agenda. Or maybe it's still coming.
No, we're not withholding anything.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, usually, of course, the busiest thing right now is the budget. And since the calendar's gotten expanded, we can spread it out a little bit more like we have.
It's not the only thing. There's a couple other things we need to still get to the works.
Yeah, they're supposed to be working on that.
What?
Sales tax.
Oh,
Next question.
we're gonna be able to do that.
Well, we're gonna have to try because I don't know what the option is. That's what I'm trying to explain to people.
Yeah, if we can't keep that mill levy down, it's gonna be really tough to get that sorted.
But you see how valuable it is,
That's about 4% of our budget. Without it, it's gonna all be ad valorem. And
Well,
there's people that don't want to make that distinction on
the
that.
thing is, it won't be ad valorem because that that's impossible to do, so infrastructure starts deteriorating.
That's the third option. That's the one I want to avoid, because we've done it well through the years.
Yeah.
Okay, right on cue, Alice.
Okay, so I am here for my monthly update. Throughout the past month, much of what I've been focused on is the website redesign and edit. I've completed meetings with all department heads and have completed a majority of the edits on the website. This was a pretty tedious process. We have hundreds of website pages. Most of them needed to be updated. A lot of them had outdated information or in some cases incorrect information. So we had to go through and edit those. Also, we officially began the redesign process. We sent the first batch kind of requested information to Civic Plus on Friday, and Kevin and I will have the first Zoom call with them just to kind of talk about, what elements we think are important. And then we will bring some of the mock-ups to the department heads and then also to y'all to see and to kind of get your thoughts and feedback on what we're looking at. We also began the Civic Plus web management training. I had not been officially trained on Civic Plus, and this platform is pretty different than other platforms that are out there. So it's kind of been a trial and error for me for the past 6 months. So it was super helpful. Plus we brought in representatives from the larger departments throughout the county, such as Public Works, Health Department, the Appraisal's Office, IT, and Emergency Management. So that they can learn how to do some of the basic updates on Civic Plus, just to kind of update those pages. Of course, IT can help with it too, but I think it's also helpful to have people formally trained, so that way we don't end up with as many mistakes as we had on the website. There were some pages that looked pretty unprofessional, so we're hoping to kind of get ahead of that. This month I also helped Planning and Development craft a letter and a flyer for the Keat Sewer Benefit District. Just trying to reach those people that didn't come to that initial community meeting. This was a flyer that went out along with the letter to those in the Keat Sewer Benefit District. We kind of had decided, Rich, Amanda, and I met and said that we needed to kind of communicate a little more bluntly or directly to the residents what's at stake here. And so we thought, a flyer like this, breaking it down, might be more easily to understand than a very wordy letter. And then the letter also, we tried to make that a little more reader friendly. I think sometimes we get a little stuck in abbreviations and terminology with which the layman does not understand. And so we wanted to make sure that this was clear for the individuals that live there. On social media.
I was gonna ask you, how's the survey going, the door to door?
I do not know. You'd have to ask Amanda that, or maybe Rich knows, but I don't know what the feedback is on
It's
that.
not finished yet, probably.
Yeah, you'd have to ask Amanda.
Yeah, I know they sent the letter out last week, and I think the gentleman was supposed to go out at the end of last week again, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't know what the response is
It'd be
like.
interesting to find out how he's being received and.
Yeah.
I thought originally it was supposed to be completed by now, but
Yeah,
I do
it
not know
was,
that for
yeah.
sure.
I thought it was.
Yeah, sorry. Amanda might be able to get you that
Okay.
information.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. I'm here to answer questions. Messaging on social media, just posted some information about the USD 383 election, and we have some social media posts scheduled throughout this month, especially as we come up to deadlines for advanced voting, just to let people know when advanced voting starts and who can participate, which is every registered voter. Also put out some information on the heat advisory that we had last week. You can see on the bottom right-hand side there, I created a kind of a short video with some tips for people that we put on EMS page, emergency management, and also the health department for individuals, just so they're kind of aware of that.
Get ready to use that one a lot.
Yeah, I know. It's good that we have it.
Yes,
Rolling it out there.
absolutely.
So Juneteenth closure, so we pushed out a press release. I also put an alert on the website, which also sent an alert out to people that are signed up for those notifications. And then we put on all the Facebook pages for Riley County entities, we put up this notice. We really did not get a lot of pushback on social media, which I know we were a little concerned about. I don't know if you all did, but usually people are pretty likely to air their grievances on social media, and there was only a couple, maybe like 2 or 3 comments.
I I got several emails.
Yeah. Which is gonna happen, you
Yeah.
know, I mean, I understand that it, you know, is an inconvenience for some people, but,
I took a moment to clarify on Monday, and so
Yeah.
we're good.
I mean, it's kind of what we had no choice. The tax foreclosure sale, did a brief video and have been pushing that out on social media. Also included that on our calendar, Riley County calendar, which is on our website homepage. This is a feature that has in the past only been used by the treasurer's office. And so I'm trying to incorporate other departments on the calendar page. Also posting health department events there too, so that hopefully this calendar can become a go-to place for people to find out, you know, what deadlines are coming up, office hours, closures, or any events that we have. Ogden, there was a vaccine clinic last week, helped with the messaging for that. We've also been helping the health department if we have a couple of doses left, just kind of pushing it out on social media. We have a lot of leaders in the community that end up sharing that, and usually we get a pretty good response to use up those remaining vaccine doses. Also in regards to the health department, I don't have this written in my presentation, but based on the information yesterday, we have seen an increase in comments and questions regarding the uptick in cases, variants, and also the percent positive. And did find out that we now, as of this morning, have 7 people hospitalized for COVID, 3 in the ICU. So those are some of the highest numbers that we've seen in quite a while.
2 questions on that. What's the age group on that and the vaccination and
Only
vaccination?
1 person is vaccinated out of those 7. And I don't know about the age group. I do know that previously we were seeing a younger age group because the majority of our elderly population has been vaccinated. But I'm not sure. I can find out or see if Julie has that information. But we are working on a communication campaign for social media. I talked to Rich yesterday, just reminding people that per CDC, if you're not vaccinated, you're supposed to be wearing a mask, especially in group settings as we open everything back up again. And that's something that we are not seeing here in Riley County. So, and also these variants are something to take seriously. They have a much higher, what's the word I'm looking for?
Transmissibility.
Thank you. That's a very big word. Yes,
It is.
transmissibility. And so
I practiced before.
my mom would say that's an SAT word. And we have seen 6 breakthrough cases in Riley County. So that means people that were vaccinated, those people have the variants though. And so that's where we're seeing some of those breakthrough cases is in regards to variants. The breakthrough cases, the symptoms were pretty mild because they were vaccinated. So we've got a lot going on. So people have a lot of questions out there. So for the first time in a while, we had a lot of chatter on social media, and we'll kind of be working to answer the questions as the variants become more prominent and the numbers continue to increase here in Riley County. So something to just kind of keep an eye on. Also, the health department, working with them, they are going to be starting a testing at the airport next week in conjunction with Manhattan Airport. So we'll be working on an information campaign with them to just kind of get the word out. If you're traveling through there, or if you want to stop there and get a test, you can do that. It's something that Chicago Airport offers and some other airports throughout the country. So that's kind of a nice partnership. Erin Price, who's the clinical director for the health department, will be doing an interview with KCLY tomorrow, just kind of Q&A about the vaccine, just to hopefully reach some of the individuals in Northern Riley County. And then I'm also going to be writing an article with Erin for the Riley Countian about Q&A for the vaccine also, so we can hopefully reach some of those more rural areas of Riley County. Household hazardous waste services, been pushing out on social media some of the other services that they offer, such as the recycling and trash service, the household hazardous waste recycling events that they have once a month in conjunction with Howie's, and also the freebie shelf that they have and the free paint. Health department is also in the midst of a safe summer challenge. You'll see bingo cards placed at places throughout Riley County. If you complete 15 of the activities, mark it off, send it to us via social media. We'll send you a $5 gift card to Baskin Robbins, Sonic, one other location. So I'm helping them with a the communications campaign for that. We're trying to do a lot of that on Instagram to reach a younger population on there. So the health department does have an Instagram account right now that we're using, that we're trying to kind of have a little bit of fun with. And then finally, the historical museum. If you haven't followed us on Facebook or Instagram, we're getting some pretty good traction, posting historical photos and information several times a month, relating to Riley County, on the Instagram account and then also on Facebook. And it's nice to kind of see people interacting, wondering if they see a family member or a friend or something like that in some of the older pictures. So working with them on that.
There's a former commissioner on one of those too.
What was that?
There was a former commissioner, county commissioner on one of those pictures.
Oh, was there? Oh, cool. So,
Yes.
and I love history, so I've had a lot of fun kind of helping them. And, we've been picking out pictures. We did something for Flag Day, and we did something for yesterday. We had a picture from the 1960s from City Park of the pool, just talking about, wanting to cool off. So just kind of, some fun stuff that people are enjoying. And finally, I've been working on a communication manual for Riley County. It seems that various departments have their own communication manuals, processes. So we're trying to kind of get that all underneath one umbrella, going along with the need to have, cohesive, consistent, and effective messaging as Riley County as a whole. So some of those parts will be a process for media requests, and then also a process for posting to social media countywide, so that way we have some uniformity and kind of do it all strategically. Any questions?
Any questions? Thoughts?
I think it looks really good. You're really doing some really good things there.
Thank you. And also just along, going back to the COVID, which is, always lingering. If you all can think of any other places that would be good for us to reach out to the community, not to preach, but to inform them, to answer any questions they have about the vaccine. We're more than willing to send somebody from the health department out. You have an idea?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No.
No.
Something that we hadn't discussed. Their health department has developed that survey.
Oh, for the employees,
Right.
yeah, I do not have a role in that, so
Okay.
that's something probably that Julie could talk about, but I know that they have developed a survey to reach out to larger employees throughout Riley County.
We're gonna start getting that around, and my place of employment is gonna be in that first mix there, so we'll get some data. I don't know what it's gonna tell us, anything different than we're already probably aware of or not, I don't know, but no, we'll see, and try to figure out how to work and.
Yeah, I think a big thing is just education at this point in time. We had vaccines available at the Juneteenth event, and we only gave out 2. And so I think we've kind of reached that line where everybody that wants one has gotten one, and those that haven't are kind of on the fence. So I think the important thing to do is to educate people. And there's some people that are just never going to get it.
I think that's more of that line at this point in time. There's very few that are sitting on the fence, but if they are, we should get to them and do what we can.
And I think an excuse that we do continue to hear is that people don't have the time off to get that vaccine. And so just kind of working with employers is something I know that, the health department's working with, because the fear is that we regress to a large spike in cases this fall, which we're already kind of seeing happen right now.
You commented, you were saying an article with the county, and there's one issue a month that's wider circulated.
No, I didn't.
Okay, because there's you have to ask Dawn, I can't remember which one it is, but one that has the school, because they're official school notes that they have. She calls it free syrup, goes to everyone.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So that might be, make sure you get your stuff in that one.
Yeah.
And I can't remember which one. It's the third one a month, I think, but I'm not. Yeah, that's Donna for sure.
I'll ask her about that. And then also too, I've made contact with Little Apple Post, and they're going to start publishing our press releases and working more closely with them also, with their radio stations, which actually have the largest listenership in this area. So we're going to try to also do some marketing with them in the future.
Okay. Thank you, Alice.
Thanks, Alice. Next commissioner, we have Bob Isaac, It's 10:20.
And it is 10:20, so.
Sooner or later. Excuse me. So are we ready to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, great. Well, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
Josephine Zaner has made application with Riley County Planning and Development requested to replat lots 122, 123, and 124 of University Park into one lot. The subject property generally located approximately 385 feet northeast of the intersection of Bayview Circle and Rimrock Drive on the east side of Bayview Circle. The subject property was platted as lots 122 and 123 and 124 of University Park in September of 1959. The property is developed with a home and a above ground swimming pool and a parking area, if you will. That's kind of where they want to build their garage. And being on different lots, that's kosher with the zoning regulations. So the essence really is just bringing together so that they can build that garage with the house. The subject property is zoned SF1, single family residential, and has been zoned residential since at least 1974 with the 1974 zoning conversion process. There are no conditional uses, special uses, or variances associated with the site. Raleigh County Fire District Number 1 will continue to serve the site. The nearest county fire station is the University Park Station located at 7412 Redwood Drive. The subject site is located within 5 road miles of the fire station. This is the final plat illustrating the orientation and location of the lot's boundaries and the location of the existing home. Plan is to construct a garage on where existing lot 124 is located. The utility easements, which are grayed out on this plat, are existing, and there's not a request to vacate those with this replat. Thus, they are to remain. A few pics of the site. Standing on Bayview Circle, looking northeast. This is existing lot 124, the southernmost of the 3 lots to be combined. This is the area which the applicant intends on building a garage. Lot 123 is just north of that lot, occupied by an above ground pool and the house on lot 122 at the end of Bayview Circle. Just kind of looking across there like that. And you can see there, lot 123 has the pool on it. And lot 122, which has the home on it. And with a closer look at the home and considerable, there's a considerable grade difference between the house and the street. One can understand how difficult, if not possible, it would be to attempt to construct a garage on the same lot as the home, and why parking is relegated to Bayview Circle's cul-de-sac. This is kind of like turning around on faces south at this point, and looking at the existing lot 124 where the applicant wishes to construct that accessory structure. Although the lot appears to have an entrance onto Bayview Circle, it hasn't been determined if it's a permitted entrance or if the applicant will need to obtain an entrance permit. On June 14th, the Raleigh County Planning Board held a public hearing and approved the request to replat lots 122, 123, and 124 of University Park subdivision into one lot to be known as University Park Unit 14, as it was determined to meet the requirements of the Raleigh County subdivision regulations, zoning regulations, and sanitary code. Staff recommends that the Board of County Commissioners acknowledge the approved final plat of University Park Unit 14 accepting any easements, rights of way, or licenses as shown to be dedicated on the final plat. Fairly straightforward. No rezoning, just lots together. If you have any questions, be glad to take those.
Anybody else?
Either. Looks pretty straightforward.
Mhm. Do you need a motion to approve, and then we'll have a couple of things to sign.
Okay, I'll move to approve the resolution acknowledging the approval of final plat, University Park Unit 14, accepting easements, right of ways, or licenses as shown to be dedicated on the final plat.
I would second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded on the resolution approving the University Park Unit 14, resolution number 062421. All those in favor?
Aye.
Just if we have any Mylar out here on the table for signature. We can, if we can do sign, that I think.
It sounds like it's too easy for you, so please. You'll have to find me later on today. I'll sign.
Sir? Yeah.
Looks like the sun's out.
I think it just literally popped out in the last 5 minutes, yeah. It's gonna get hot.
I would say.
Yeah, it's gonna get hot.
Our yard work today.
Oh, fun. I have a Community Economic and Development Steering Committee meeting today to go through policy resolutions in advance of the upcoming in-person virtual conference. So. Okay, well, that was our last agenda item for the morning. Does anybody have anything else?
I have no further business, commissioners.
Okay.
Well, we were talking about, government else, I think, that KAC meeting, we're planning on attending that. KAC.
In
The
October.
fall.
October.
Yeah, you'll want to get with Cindy and let her know if you're going to go or not go. The issue right now is the conference center and / hotel, they have it as going through major renovation. So the blocks of rooms that would normally be available aren't, but depending on how renovation goes, some things will open up. So if you are making plans on going, I would let her know now so that she has as much lead time as possible to coordinate that.
And we've already got a block of rooms reserved at the next closest hotel, and she's
Okay.
checking regularly to try and get us into the conference hotel. So Cindy's already on the rooms.
Okay.
We'll just need to know what portions of the conference you want to go to, because sometimes they have a pre-conference
Yeah.
and that's an extra charge, and that also impacts the days. We'll need to know the days, the nights that you
Is there
want
a
to stay.
schedule in someplace?
They haven't
They
really
haven't
determined.
Nothing out there yet.
That's what I-
That's what makes
Everyone's
it,
getting so late on getting agendas out anymore.
Well,
yeah, it makes it
How do you know?
difficult.
How do you know if you want to?
That's what I was wondering.
I think because of everything that's going on, I talked to Kim when we were down at the KCCA, and they said that they're kind of watching things. They may pare some things down and they may open some things back up depending on what happens there. But they had to get the conference center well in advance, and they didn't know that. So that's going to probably be tricky. And
So we just kinda
As soon as we see
wait
the
and see
agenda,
what the
we'll get it to
agenda-
you
okay.
and discuss it with you. And
Because I don't
you
know
guys
if
can
all
pick and
3
choose
days of
what
stuff
to do.
is interesting or. one-
well, I
one or
think
2
that it's
days.
open. No, the first day is kind of a late afternoon, early reception
Uh-huh.
slash
Sometimes-
registration, and then you have-
Sometimes they have start at noon and have
Yeah.
a pre-conference thing, extra sessions, and so it all depends. This year's liable to be different. And I was gonna talk to Commissioner Ford, but I think it's something we kind of need to keep on our radar. It's obvious things are ticking up again in regards to intergovernmental. I know we're talking about maybe going a different way in a couple months, but so I think we need to keep an eye on things.
yeah.
I anticipated this fall
Oh, yeah.
gonna be
Oh, yeah.
great, and
Yeah.
we have July 4th coming up, and I expect everyone's wants to get out and people will get out, and so
I think for me on this, it's not necessarily the number of cases, it becomes severity. So as long as we're not completely stressing our health infrastructure at this point in time, I'm not happy with the direction that we're going, obviously, but I can live knowing that we're going to have cases. We're never going to get to zero on this thing. It's here. It's going to be an active part of life. I wish people would take some things into consideration and make some appropriate decisions. But I don't think there's that many people on the fence. I think it's either you're doing it, have done it, or you're just not. There's going to be very little movement in that equation.
Well, I agree on the vaccinations, but I think us being the ones, if it gets worse, we have to be extra precautionary on
Yeah.
how we portray what we're doing.
Yeah, in terms of the intergovernmental, and I had a question on that too. We're doing Zoom this month and next month for sure. And depending on everything that happens, and I'll clarify that on Monday when we have time, but that's our, because I've already talked to IT and everybody about that. So,
If we do know the hospital has tightened restrictions again.
yes.
Our EMS ambulance is now tightening restrictions again.
Vaccination rate is bizarre. I talked to a pharmacist yesterday. He was shocked. Yesterday, they gave out 4 shots all day.
Yeah, they're advertising, their signs in the parking lots. It's not like.
Yeah, we're doing everything we can do on that. It's just a matter of you've got a group that it just isn't going to do it. And I know people that have had it that aren't going to do it. I know people that are extremely vulnerable if they catch it. They're not doing it. And those people, you're just not gonna provide anything that's gonna change their mind on it. So we're just gonna have to work through the best of that scenario as we possibly can moving forward. And
But that Juneteenth, I'd gone over the vaccines out of business on.
that one kind of surprises me a little bit, maybe. but,
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
I had 2 the entire day.
Yeah, and they said, but it also the sign for it wasn't, they said they were making announcements. I hadn't heard, but I guess they were making announcements about it because it was kind of a part of the thing.
Well,
I went over to just see how busy they were. And they go, you running,
every event advertising I seen.
Before you even said anything, you had 2 needles and one in each arm.
I said, no, I've already done it. I just wondered how successful. We had one.
Talking to my mother and my stepdad in Las Vegas weeks ago when they got their shots, and they're in their 80s. They went to some public, this is when the vaccinations were going great guns. They said they literally did not get their jackets off and they got stabbed. So,
Well, for Juneteenth, it wasn't like it was a surprise. I mean, everything I saw, basically advertising the event included it.
That's why I thought that's busy.
Yeah. I think where we're at is where we're at, and I do agree we're going to have an uptick. That I fully expect that, but I'm just hopeful that we can keep the severities down,
Me too.
and that lessens our need to get involved in the scenario at this point in time, and just let the health department and the medical and health sector do what it needs to do.
And just didn't think it sounded good with 6 in
No.
ICU. with
No.
this
7.
case.
She said
So
7 this
seven.
morning.
So that tells me severities
It's,
is
yeah,
going good.
Well, there were 7 hospitalizations. As of yesterday, there was 1 in ICU.
yeah, 1 in ICU and, yeah, 6, but none.
And
of
the
them
other
are
thing that we're seeing
vaccinated, so.
a strange influx in is OBG YN. I don't know if I got that. Basically, it's younger pregnant mothers
Really?
that are coming down with
I've not
this. So
seen that.
there's something within that structure that's causing that too. So
One of the troubling things about the uptake is that it's based on reduced testing too.
mhm.
So fewer people getting tested, yet still an uptick. That's not good.
Well, I guess Missouri is in really bad shape.
But it's not the entire state. It's the
Parts of it,
it's the
yeah.
metropolitan areas. So
People aren't
Springfield as well.
vaccinated.
yeah, they seem like a 600%, if I read that right, increase in like the last month.
Oh, really?
Something like that.
Yeah,
I just did.
but that's kind of close to Branson. It's that time of the year. People kind of moving into that location. for
Branson's one of the lowest rates for getting vaccinated.
Oh,
Yeah, it is.
Because the average age there is.
Yeah, that's what's so amazing. They
So you don't think it's a younger crowd?
one of
That's
those-
not the younger crowd, no.
That's counterintuitive, that they
Yeah.
wouldn't have a higher vaccination rate. Wow.
Yeah, they don't.
Well, there may be boosters having to come out too with these variants, so we don't know about that.
Yeah, so far they're saying no, but I find it hard to think that that's not going to be the case. But the problem is the time frame that you develop a booster, you have a new set of variants.
Right,
And one aspect, the variants are kind of good because it means the disease is trying to transform around everything that we're doing, but it's just hard to keep up with that as quick as those are happening. And this is going to be a process for a while still. It's
It's been so long since we've had to deal, certainly on a global basis with the disease.
yeah,
That's the problem.
it's not been in any of our lifetimes. That's the key. Also for the intergovernmental, are we doing lunch?
I assume.
Oh, okay.
Not.
Okay. I didn't know if we needed to
I assume.
write down our choices or whatever for that. Okay.
Y'all want salads?
Yes.
Ranch here.
no, I don't need a salad.
I'll take one, Richard. No ranch. No ranch.
So you want Italian?
Yes. In fact, don't let ranch even get near my salad. Please put that in the order. Have Cindy say that.
They're in cups. You're sound like they-
I know it's contamination, it sounds like to me.
Wow.
Make my expression so that to keep getting notice about the KC, just hold off to see what's going on.
Yeah, I
mean, I read it
give
a long
any,
ways off.
I know the days, but I don't know as far as topics.
So just let it run.
But we're on top of the hotel room. We have a large block of hotel rooms blocked at the next nearest, and I told Cindy to check regularly to see if we can't get in the conference hotel if something opens up, like John said.
Yeah. They're like I said, they're doing a major renovation at that conference center, and it's room oriented, not necessarily the space. So it's over there in Hotel Row. So even if we do have to
there's a
go,
bunch.
even if we have to do, it's probably a walk across a parking lot or something. It's not gonna, unless have a major winter storm or something at that point in time where it's 100 degrees and mid to late.
Very cold weather during that.
We have,
Yeah.
but we'll figure that one out and be okay.
I look forward to those days.
They're coming sooner than you think, Rich. Be patient. The last thing, and it's something that kind of popped up on the radar after our 4:00 meeting on Thursday, is dealing with the something that's come up for the firing range. And Rich had mentioned it to myself and Director Butler about a plaque for the building. The executive assistant, Nicole, reached out and they were looking at just some logistics of it. I know you sent me an email yesterday. I was going to bring this up anyway, but putting a plaque out there that has all the commissioners, people that worked on it, kind of like out Public Works.
Well, just commissioners and contractors, the engineers, the contractor, and I can send you two commissioners a picture. I went out to Public Works and took a picture of it, and it'll have the board from last year and then the current board, and say your current terms to present and such, and the previous commissioner's term year, and that's all that's on it is county commissioners and no other county staff.
Yeah. And I'd point out that the time frame is probably not going to allow us to get it done. Time for the open house, so it'll come out of
It'll take
it.
a while.
As long as we get it done right
Yeah.
professionally, and I'm fine with that. But just wanted to let everybody know that's.
And that's how it worked on the last one too. Yeah,
So we'll get on that and get that done and taken care of.
I think it'd be appropriate.
Yeah, do too.
It'll be a long-standing facility.
Okay, so outside of that, that's all I've got. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
I'd second that.
It's been moved and seconded on adjournment of the June 24th, 2001 meeting. All those in favor?